Today, Frank Turek posted a short clip on Twitter where he talks about dinosaurs in the Bible, and I think he got the answer exactly right. The only problem is, I don't think he fully grasps the implications of what it means for him to have gotten that answer completely right. So let's take a look at the clip and then discuss.
The Bible talks about the land animals, but it doesn't talk about all the land animals. It can't. It's not a book on taxonomy. In fact, the Bible doesn't talk about elephants either. But we don't say, why doesn't the Bible talk about elephants? It must be false. No, the Bible's not there to give you a course on taxonomy. It says here's the order in which God created all these major categories of animals. So I don't understand why people suddenly think, oh, well, the Bible must be wrong then. The purpose of the Bible, according to itself, is to make you wise unto salvation, so you can get saved and sanctified. It's not to tell you everything about everything. No book could.
Frank Turek is just on the cusp of a true revolution. He says two things in that clip that are so significant. The first thing he says is, look, the Bible is not a work of taxonomy. And then he goes on and explains what the Bible is. The Bible is a manual to be trained in righteousness, 2 Timothy chapter 3. And I think he's exactly right about that. The problem is, Frank Turek doesn't quite recognize, I think, the full implications of what he's saying. Just as the Bible is not a work of taxonomy, so the Bible is not a work of biology. Yet he implicitly implies, or he assumes in that answer, you do get basic biological categories from Genesis, even though that really contradicts the overall drift of his entire statement, which is the Bible, the purpose of the Bible, the reason God gave it to us is to form us in righteousness, not to give us a work of taxonomy or of biology or of cosmology. So when people go to the Bible and they say, oh, this is my basis for arguing against the category of biological evolution, or this is the reason why I do or do not endorse some particular theory of cosmic origins, those people are really missing the point of what the Bible is about. Now, Turek refers in passing to 2 Timothy 3. Let me just read it, verses 16 and 17. All scripture is God-breathed and is useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness, so the servant of God may be thoroughly equipped for every good work. That is the point of the Bible, and it's an incredibly pragmatic point. The point of the Bible is to train us in righteousness. And Paul describes these different features: teaching, rebuking, and correcting, and then training to form us, I should say, is the catch-all for all of these, form us in righteousness, to make us righteous people so that we can go out and do good works. Now, let me say a little bit more about what that is. Romans 8:29, Paul says that we are called to be conformed to the image of God's Son. So our end goal, our purpose, is to be conformed to the image of the Son of God. What does that look like? Well, 2 Corinthians 5:21 says that we would become the righteousness of God, which perfectly lines up with teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness. The point of the Bible, again, is to train us in righteousness to be conformed to the image of God's Son, who is God's righteousness, so that we too live righteously. And what does it mean concretely to live righteously? Jesus gave us two commandments. This is what it looks like. This is bare bones. This is base level. It is to love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. That's what it is. That's the big picture. It's not about giving us theories of biology or laying down, this is how you have to think about biology. It's not, this is how you have to think about the age of the earth or the nature of cosmic origins or some other scientific fact. As Galileo Galilei famously noted, I think he was quoting Robert Bellarmine here, when he said that God gave us the Bible to tell us how to go to heaven, not how the heavens go. The point of the Bible is not to be a manual for science. Now, we could also spend all day exploring some of the other areas in which I think Christians go far beyond what is warranted from the Bible, thinking the Bible requires you to have a particular understanding of X, Y, or Z. For example, abortion. What should we think about abortion? Well, the Bible is not a manual of bioethics. And anybody who does not recognize some of the complexities at play with issues related to abortion, therapeutic abortion, the life and health of the woman, and the rights of the fetus, the nature of physician responsibility to patients, all of these issues, the question of sentience, when does a fetus become sentient? How do you apply laws to protect the fetus, but also protect the life and the rights of a woman? These are complex issues. They're complex legal issues and they're complex bioethical issues. God did not give us the Bible be a manual of bioethics or of legislation. Again, just like he didn't give it to us to be a taxonomy or a manual of biology or of cosmology. So, in these and so many other issues, Christians need to be far more cautious in making stentorian, absolutist judgments about what a Christian should believe and what the Bible allegedly teaches, when these are all issues that are well beyond the scope of that for which the Bible was purposed, which is to train us in righteousness to love God and neighbor.